It is NBA playoff season. Last night, the New York Knicks came back from down 22 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers and ended up winning the game in overtime. So I'm going to tell you how that game can teach you about life, whether it's applied to speed cubing or any other extracurricular or just your life. This is also combined with an Instagram reel that I saw, and I kind of am gonna tell you how that sort of philosophy can apply to cubing. Basically, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for people who don't watch basketball, these are the two teams in the Eastern Conference Finals. There's two conferences, they're in the East, and the winner of this goes to the NBA Finals. So it's basically the semifinal match of the two basketball teams. And when they play each other, the goal is to score more points than the other team. But there's 4 quarters that you can do this in. They're all 12 minutes long, and around the end of the third quarter, it was not looking good for the Knicks. They were down by 22 points when the Cavs had their biggest lead, and somehow they ended up winning. The way they did it was they got back on defense. That means they didn't have anything offensively going for them. They couldn't score the amount of points that they wanted to score. Nothing was working, no shots were going in. So they were like, okay, let's just get back on defense. And when you're defending, you're trying to keep the opponent from putting the ball into the hoop that they want to score in. And this line goes for days. I'm in traffic that looks like it's backed up about 3 miles. But back to the main point. By getting back on defense, the Knicks were able to focus on preventing the Cavs from scoring any more points. Because there's 2 sides to basketball. You have to score points and prevent the other team from scoring more points. So they put their efforts on, I'm going to make sure that they don't get this lead up any more than it already is, because it was not looking good for them. And that's what they did. They prevented them from scoring. And when a player misses a shot in basketball and the other team gets the rebound, it is instantly a mad dash for the rebounding team's goal. And it usually consists of the person with the ball, one defender who is able to catch up, and then another offense and defense player running up. Every now and then, if you have the ball and you're trying to score on a fast break, you'll get 2 defenders, but most of the time you'll only have to deal with 1. And they started making those transition baskets, making shots that came from defense. And through this, they were able to bounce back, gain up the momentum that they had previously. And Jalen Brunson hit a big 3 to cut the lead to, I think, 5, something like that, maybe 6. He hit a big 3, and Madison Square Garden went nuts, as it does when the Knicks are doing well. And it all started by getting back on defense. So what does this mean in life? What does this mean in cubing? The Knicks had a setback, and their setback was they were probably going to lose the game. And the way that they fixed it, they put all of their efforts into making sure that their situation did not get worse. They accepted that they were down by a tremendous amount, and they were just like, that's okay, we can deal with that, but we have to make sure that they don't score more points. And by preventing that, they were able to have a turn with the ball and score an easy basket, even though there is some type of hardship. Because if you're bouncing back from a rut, there's gonna be something that like stands in your way. Like, I've been dieting a lot of fluff on my face has gone away, actually, and it turns out that one of my things is donuts. I freaking love donuts. I'm currently living with Austin, my fiance, and her sister and her brother-in-law, so her sister's husband. And Mother's Day was just the other day, and Ashley, Austin's sister, is pregnant. And as a Mother's Day present, Isaac, her husband, got her a box of donuts. And that box of donuts for me was the equivalent of Jalen Brunson, the Knicks point guard, making a contested layup on a defender. I had to ignore those donuts. They were sitting in the kitchen, and I really, really, really wanted one. And I was able to just eat I think an apple and a bag of trail mix. That's my go-to dessert for the night. But I was able to abstain for one day, and then I came back the next morning and the donuts were still there because there was a dozen. And Austin ate one. She offered me one because she was like, "You can have a bite," and I'm like, "No, I can't. You don't understand." And it was easier for me to say no the next morning. If she had asked me if I wanted a bite of the donut the previous night, I probably would have taken a bite of the donut. But that was not just about having a bite of a donut. It was about sticking to a promise that I made myself, because I was in a rut. I weighed 245 pounds, dude. I didn't feel good. I was having respiratory problems for a second. I was like just laying in bed, and when I was breathing, I sounded a little bit like Darth Vader. When I was sleeping, apparently I've stopped breathing in my sleep once, and I was like, okay, that's the last straw. I can't die in my sleep. I need to do something about this. So I did, and I was like, it's perfect. This life turnaround is just in time for NAC. So I've been doing really, really well recently, and there's going to be hardships with whatever you try to bounce back from. But you have to be like the Knicks. You have to say, okay, I'm down 22 points in the fourth quarter. Game one is not going our way. We have to make sure that this lead doesn't get any higher. And then there's me. I stepped on the scale at the gym in our college, and I was like, wow, 245, and I can't breathe sometimes. This is not good. I need to not gain any more weight, and then I can worry about making some kind of big change. So that's what I did. I cut off most of my bad eating habits for the most part, and then I was able to ease into going to the gym consistently. That's where I'm on my way to right now. And yeah, all of it started by getting back on defense, acknowledging the problem, making sure it doesn't get worse, and then you can build yourself to get better. This works in basketball, works in football, it works in cubing, it works in life. Getting back on defense could really change your life for the better if you make the right strides with it. That's all.